Hi, Nikki.
Hey, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I am so slow. I'm like, why is the sound coming out of my, look at my headphones are plugged into my phone right now. Oh my gosh. That's the kind of day I'm having.
Oh, I hear you. Me too.
Okay.
Oh, there's my
Uh-oh.
page.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Could you hear me before?
Yeah,
Why
you
can't I
could
hear?
hear me.
I
I
couldn't hear
don't
you.
know. You can hear me now?
I can hear you now. Do I sound echoey?
No.
I don't? Okay. Well, then I guess I'll do this without my headphones today. Because that was weird. I plugged this in and it stopped with noises.
Oh boy.
So I kind of realized I feel bad for whoever watches the replay. I'm like, they have to fast forward for like 20 minutes. Uh, but
Oh well.
anyways, how was this week for you?
Good. It went good.
Good.
Yeah, I feel really good. I'm sore, but I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, Allie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I got a tomato plant today, so I'm going to start growing my own tomatoes. So I'm excited about
Oh,
that.
fun.
Oh, I love homegrown tomatoes. They're my favorite.
Yes, me too. I'm a plant enthusiast, so tomatoes. So it's really weird here in North Carolina, but there isn't, it's not dirt, it's sand and dirt mixed together.
Yeah.
So you have to like mix dirt with the sand. It's so weird. Anyways, you can't plant a garden into the ground. You have to plant it above the ground. So we just gotta, it's so strange here. Like nothing grows unless it's an actual dirt. So
Yeah.
like I don't even know how they have farms here. It's crazy. Oh. But okay, so I kind of want to go over a few things first. And then I'm assuming more people are going to jump on as the time goes. I hope you can see me. I can't see you right now because I have a list of things. So could you verbally tell me if you can hear me, see me and hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Yeah, because I can't see any of you right now. So I'm going to pretend I'm not talking to you two and I'm talking to everybody. So at this point in the week, you should have received the average macro breakdown PDF. And I emailed that to you as well as put it inside of the group chat. So you should have received that. If you didn't, let me know and I'll put it in there. I'll put in the group again. But I made it a PDF so that you could easily save it to your phone. If you have an iPhone, I'm not familiar with how Androids work. I'm assuming you could save it to that as well, or you could easily print it off. And then you also received your week 3 workouts, which were emailed to you. I did not put those in the group. And then I also had Nikki and Allie post example meals for both high and low carb days so that all of you could see exactly what other people are doing on those days, because I know some of you are still having trouble figuring out exactly how to do that. I do want to say one thing. Yes, I know this is the 3rd week, but it's like I said at the very beginning of this is a learning curve with learning how to, one, count macros, two, having different macros for different days as well. So don't put yourself down or don't feel bad if you still haven't gotten a great hang on of this. Okay. Like sometimes I've been doing this for years at this point. And sometimes I'm still like, wait, what am I doing? It takes practice to get good at knowing those things, just like anything. So I do want to start with, for those of you who are here live, does anybody have any specific questions from anything from this past week on anything?
I know I put it on my check-in, but I have always struggled with deadlifts and I don't know if you have tips for form or what, but like my lower back is always so sore the next day. So obviously I'm doing it wrong.
So No. Well, first of all, I haven't read your check-in yet, so I don't know exactly what you put, but is that pretty much what you put?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So deadlifts, all deadlifts, and I know people think this is not what they're for. They think it's for your legs. Deadlifts are actually for your lower back. So that is why your lower back is that sore. Conventional deadlifts are specific for your lower back. That is what they are made for. Especially when you stand up, what you're supposed to do is you're squeezing in your glutes and you're tightening up your glutes and you're tightening up your lower back. And at the top of it, you're really supposed to like kind of flare out your lats just a little bit. It's actually a back exercise, but it's great for your glutes and your legs as well, which is why I really like doing them. So you're not doing them wrong. It's just that's really what it's targeting is your entire posterior chain and your lower back. Now, it's different if it's your actual spine and you're in pain. I'm assuming it's your muscles that are sore, right?
Yeah, it's muscle soreness.
Okay, yeah. You're not doing them wrong. That you're working exactly what you're supposed to be working. And the other thing with that is most people have very weak lower backs, which is why your lower back becomes very sore. Does that make you feel a little bit better?
Yeah, pretty much what my boyfriend told me, but I didn't believe him. So.
Oh no, you're right. No, he's right. Yeah, with sumo deadlifts, that's why there's all those different variations is because now you're not just targeting your lower back, you're now targeting more of the side of your glutes as well, and the inside of your legs as also. But still, the primary muscle that is being worked is your back. So if your lower back isn't sore, I would say it's probably time to go up in weight, but get that strength in your lower back until whatever weight it is you are using is comfortable for you. And I had all of you do 10 sets of 10 because that's a really good marker to find out where you're sitting as far as your endurance can go with that. So I know that's not easy. And it's one of my favorite. Do 10 sets of 10 of squats one day. It'll make you fall over real quick. But I'm not going to have you guys do that. You guys can do that on your own if you want. But so no, I'm assuming your form and everything is great, Allie, but if you want to send a video and I can double check it for you, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nikki, did you have a question?
Nope. I don't think so. I pretty much had the same thing as her, and my lower back was super bad, so I went to the chiropractor, and he's like, oh, well, we'll fix you up. And I'm like, oh, it still hurts. So I don't know what's going on. So now I know. Yeah. So I did do it right. Yeah. I felt like I was doing them wrong as well.
Nope. You did them right. As I'm assuming you kept and that's a really good, it's not working your core directly, but it's a really good exercise to work on breathing properly. So getting that really big, deep breath in your lower part of your lungs and your abs, because that big, deep breath is going to tighten up your core. And that's what's going to allow you to, one, lift the weight, but two, work that part of your body. That's why I really like deadlifting is the ultimate total body exercise.
Well, it's kind of hard not to breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Your automatic breathing. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Do either of you have any other questions right now?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Well, then let's go ahead and jump into intermittent fasting. So the first thing I do want to say about this is that incorporating intermittent fasting, I'm also going to refer to it as IF. It's a choice that you have the option to include into your program, and it's a pretty advanced technique that you can use. I'm not making it mandatory for anybody, but it is an option for you, and it is a great tool to aid in fat loss. The other thing with that is I don't want it to be the tool for your fat loss. Could you do that? Yes, but I don't believe in just one thing to be your main soul of fat loss and losing weight. I want you to have that healthy lifestyle. I want you to have that diet down pat. I want you to, and then be able to add in things like carb cycling, like intermittent fasting. Okay. So as I go through everything that I'm about to say and you feel that it is something that you would like to be doing, I only suggest that you make sure you're comfortable with first counting macros before adding in more layers to the foundation that we are setting up here for you. Okay. So, oh, and one other thing, if you don't want to take notes as I'm saying all of this, don't feel that you need to. I actually am in the process of making a full PDF of everything that I am saying for you, saying to you. So don't feel that you have to take notes. You're going to have a copy of everything I'm saying with a little bit more detail in a PDF. It's going to be about 15 pages. So just like the carb cycling PDF, it's going to be very similar to that. So don't feel that you have to take notes. Maybe just write down the questions that you have and then go ahead and ask those later. So what is intermittent fasting? As simple as I can put it, it's literally cycling between periods of eating and not eating. It isn't something that you can replace with eating well. So it isn't a diet plan. I don't consider it a diet plan. Most people who discuss intermittent fasting don't consider it a diet plan, but it's another tool that can be added into your current routine, just like we are using carb cycling as a tool. IF is becoming very popular with people, and it's not a new concept though. It's been around for centuries, and a lot of religions use IF as part of their religious practice. So, there's Ramadan. That's one of the biggest religious observances that I can think of that uses IF. They fast as part of their religion. So it's been around for centuries, but it's creeping its way more into the fitness world currently. There are a lot of different fasting methods out there, but so there isn't just one right way to do fasting. And I'm going to share with you the two methods that I use, the two methods that I coach on. And if you would like to do further research on your own of the other methods, you're more than welcome to do that. But I'll say some of those other ones when I get there. But I want to talk about first what's happening during the actual fasting phase. What's happening is your body is essentially being forced to use fat stores as its fuel. So when we eat, our body is using glucose. In other words, it's using sugar and carbs as its main source of energy, and it's going to store whatever is left over as glycogen in your muscles and in your liver. When you're not giving your body that steady stream of glucose, your body is going to begin breaking down that glycogen for fuel. And then once it runs out of glycogen for fuel, it's going to start looking in other places for your body for sources of energy, such as your fat cells. And so that is also the same concept of going into ketosis, which is why the keto diet is so popular. But I'm not going to talk about all the main issues with it, but one of the big problems is that it's not guaranteed that your body is actually going to use the fat cells to use as energy. It could also use muscle cells as energy as well. So it's not guaranteed. Is it most likely going to happen? Absolutely. But that's the biggest reason why I only have you doing low carbs for so many days, and why you break a fast. That's why it's called intermittent fasting. You break it for a reason, because there's no guarantee, there's no science proving what exactly it's eating or what sources of energy your body is looking for when it is out of glycogen to be eating. So that is why we break a fast. That is why you shouldn't be in ketosis for that long, but I digress on that topic. And that's also why I only recommend certain methods of fasting. But again, I'll get into that a little bit later. So why should we do intermittent fasting, or why is it good to incorporate? So the obvious benefit is weight loss, specifically fat loss. You are going to lose weight overall, but I feel it's a really great tool to specifically combat fat loss. And so I'm sure that's not a shocking fact. It is the biggest attraction to intermittent fasting. That's why a lot of people want to start doing it. But really, I like it and I coach on is because of the focus on fat loss rather than total weight loss. It's going to help increase your energy. It's going to help promote cellular regeneration. It's going to help minimize cravings and hunger pangs, and it's also going to help increase your brain function. And I did talk a little bit more in depth about each of those things inside of the guide that I have already written for you. So I want to get into the methods right now and how to incorporate it. Again, like I said, there are a lot of different ways you can do this out there, and you may not find the other thing with this is depending on whose research you're looking at, that researcher might only have certain methods, but then you can go to a completely different researcher and they'll have completely different methods. So there's so many ways to do this, but I'm going to talk about the ones that I personally use and recommend, as well as the ones that I feel are the most common and the most easy to integrate into any lifestyle. So that's what I'm talking about. So the first one is called the 16-8 method. But I guess if you want to break this down into 3, you could. But it's the 12-12, 14-10, 16-8 method. And with this method, you're fasting for anywhere from 12 to 16 hours throughout the day, while the remaining 8 to 12 hours, you'll be eating your recommended macros for the day, all right? So what this looks like, pretty much you're going to choose, and you get to choose. There's no rule or law that says you have to do it at this hour. So you'll choose when you stop eating for the day. So let's go ahead and use 8 p.m. as the example. My Instant Pot is going off. Okay. I didn't know if it was going to stop beeping or not. Sorry. So you're going to choose when you'll stop eating for the day. So let's go ahead and say 8 p.m. But you choose whenever is convenient for you. So that might be 7 p.m., might be 9 p.m. And this can vary from day to day. Sometimes I'll realize like a high carb day because there's a lot of food I'm trying to get in. Sometimes I'll notice I'm not done eating until like 9 or 9:30 or whatever the day is long, whatever. And so I just extend my fast a little bit longer the next day. But most of the time I try to be done by like 7 or 8 when it comes to eating. Anyway, so the 12-12 method, you're 12 hours of fasting, 12 hours of eating. If you want to start with that one, I would say that's the easiest one to get started with. So that means you stop eating at 8 p.m., you go to sleep, and then you can begin eating again at 8 a.m., okay? And then we have 14-10, 14 hours of fasting, 10 hours of an eating window. So that means if you stop eating at 8 p.m., you get to go to sleep, and then you can begin eating again at 10 a.m. the next day, and then you repeat that again. Or you can do 16-8. So 16 hours of fasting, an 8-hour eating window. So if you stop eating at 8 p.m., you're going to go to sleep, or you finish your day, then go to sleep, and then you can begin eating again at 12 p.m., and then you repeat that again the next day. All right? So that's the first method. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right there really quick. Do you have any questions on that right now? Good. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. So that was again 12-12, 14-10, and 16, 8, either 12, 14, or 16 hours of fasting, and then either 12, 14, or 12, 10, 8 hours of an eating window, okay? So let's go ahead and go to the second method. This is called the 5-2 method. And that means for 5 days of the week, you are eating normal macros, while 2 days of the week, you are doing a complete 48-hour back-to-back fast. And then once that 48 hours is up, you return to your normal macros once that fast is completed. So yes, that means during those 48 hours, you are not eating anything other than the recommended things you can have during a fast, which is water, black coffee, and tea with nothing added to it. So this is part of the reason why I partnered with Isagenix, is because the cleansing system that Isagenix offers supports the 5-2 method. You're completing a 2-day, 48-hour fast, but with the added benefits of flooding your body with an herbal drink, and that's going to enhance the experience, if you will. You absolutely do not need the Isagenix products to do this. You can definitely do it on your own, but the approved fasting products will make not eating for 2 days a little bit easier. So that is an option for you, but pretty much you're going to eat your normal macros for 5 days, and then for 48 hours back to back, you're not eating anything except drinking water, black coffee, or oh my gosh, I just said it, tea, okay? And I like this one because you're giving your body a full break from digesting food in general, not just a break from glucose and carbs. You're just giving your body a nice long break from having to put that extra work into digesting food. And our bodies really do enjoy that. And the other reason I really like this method is because your human growth hormone levels, which is very great for you, especially when you're working out, that helps to build that lean muscle. Your human growth hormone, HGH, your natural levels of that are increased when you go through a 48-hour fast. So I really like the 5-2 method. It's something, I think it also helps with the brain fog. So how I'm talking pretty much, like I'm skipping over my words and you can't think straight, all that. I feel that it helps to clear that up a lot as well. A lot of other people say that too. So the 5-2 is something, if you wanted to do that every week, you absolutely could. If you wanted to do it once every month, if you want to do it once every 2 months, 3 months, whatever, I recommend doing that. So if you're somebody who's already been practicing intermittent fasting, I would try to give yourself the 48 hours complete fast. I think you would be very surprised with the amount of energy that you gain and how well your thinking clears up with that. So again, like I said, there are a lot of ways that you can use intermittent fasting, but these two, in my opinion, are the easiest to get started with. They're the easiest to maintain long-term. The only two I only coach on, and then the only methods that I personally use as well. So I do want to talk about a few ways that you can be successful with intermittent fasting, but I want to ask if there's any questions on either of those two things first before I give you a few tips how to be successful with intermittent fasting. Okay. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory, so it just helps to know exactly how to do it. Okay, so a few ways to be successful with intermittent fasting. Number one, while you're in your fasting window, the only things you should consume are water, black coffee, tea, and water, all right? So the moment you consume anything with calories is the moment your fast stops, okay? The moment you put your body into a state of having to digest, your fast stops right then and there, all right? So So a lot of people, I'm actually in an intermittent fasting lifestyle group on Facebook, and oh God, some people are, I mean, technically, I guess you could have 0-calorie drinks. So Coke Zeros, like stuff like that, technically. And this is part of the reason that it drives me insane, is because I like to teach a whole healthy lifestyle, and Coke Zero and things like that aren't healthy in the long run. They're just not. So, I mean, technically you could consume that because there's no calories in it, but I don't recommend that. I recommend sticking to water, coffee, and tea. Those are the basics. But that's to each his own on that. And then, so number 2, so while you're fasting, water, black coffee, tea, all right? Number 2, during your awake fasting hours, which is typically only a few hours in the morning, because most of your fast is being done while you're sleeping anyways, which is really great, which is also why I really like it. It's easy to do. You're sleeping most of it. Keep yourself busy with working out, doing something else for other people, whatever it is that you need to be doing. So I like to, what I personally do, I wake up, I do my journaling, I have some coffee, and then what I'll do is, if depending on the time, it's been pretty cold here in the morning, and so I've been waiting till the afternoon to work out. So I'll get some work done, have a little bit more coffee, get my workout in, and then I'll eat right after that. That's why I know all of you have heard me say I don't usually eat till 11 a.m. or 12. And that's the reason why, because I'm fasting until that point in time. So I try to get my workout in. Early in the morning, but it's just been so cold. I've been working out in my garage, so that's not been the thing. But so try to keep yourself busy during your awake fasting hours. Number 3, listen to your body. If you feel you are struggling and might die, you can choose to either push through and keep going, or you can choose to go ahead and have your first meal. And if you choose that, that's totally okay, especially if you've never done something like this ever in your life on purpose. I know there's days where the whole days will go by and you're like, oh my God, I didn't eat anything. But if you feel that you need to break your fast, go ahead and do it. It's okay. You have to train. Again, it's just something else. It's another tool. It's another skill that you have to train yourself to use and get good at doing, okay? And it's always more important that you listen to your body and what your body is telling you. Plus, this is going, like I just said, it's a new experience for you, and it's best to not push it, okay? Especially if you literally feel like you might die. Number 4, you can absolutely still work out. This is how I train every single day. I have been doing this for a very, very long time, consistently and with purpose, the past 4 or 5 years at this point. It's honestly what I attribute my ability to keep a lean physique year round. And there are a bunch of studies out, and there's new studies out actually too, that say that you don't have to eat directly post-workout. If you have a few hours left in your fast, that's okay. But I do recommend getting your workout in as close to the point in the time in which you would actually break your fast. So that's my personal recommendation. I'm still of the mindset that you need to eat within that 30 minutes of working out, but there are studies supporting that you don't need to do that. So whichever you choose to go with, that is up to you. Number five, remember that you have the ability to change your eating window to whenever you would like. I gave the example of 8 p.m., but if you want it to be 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., whatever it is you want to stop eating at, that is totally up to you. It is interchangeable. The only thing I would say is whatever your eating and fasting windows are, I would do your best to be consistent with that from day to day. Now, like I did say earlier, for the most part, I am very consistent, but let's say some days I don't finish eating until 9:30 at night, then there's nothing to get worked up about. I just push my fasting window a little bit later, assuming it's not, I like to go at least 14 hours. So if it's not 14, if it's 14 hours, anywhere from 12 to 14 hours the next day, it's fine. I like to keep mine at about 14 hours. Again, that's the beauty of this. It's very easy to change or, and let's say, okay, this is my next point. I was going to give you this example, but it's also my next point. So number 6 is like, don't freak out. Okay. That's literally number 6. Don't freak out. There isn't any hard and fast rules or laws to this. If you want to eat a pancake breakfast the next morning with your family and it's going to break your fast early, go ahead and do it. It's totally okay. It's not something that you have to do for 30 days in a row in order to see a result. That's not how this works. This is going to be something that happens over time. Your body needs to get used to you doing this. So it's not like one day of breaking your fast is going to throw you off track. That's not a thing. And I hope everything that you've been learning with me teaches you that you can't, like, there's no such thing as falling off track or slipping or whatever the terms are these days. There's no such thing as that. It's either you're doing it or you're not doing it. And if you aren't doing it, that's okay. You have a plan to get back to the very next day. So if you find yourself getting anxious over the small potatoes of intermittent fasting, you need to stop, take a big deep breath, exhale, and you need to tell yourself to chill. Everything is okay. There's no need to stress over this. This should be an easy, simple tool that you add into your lifestyle, okay? And then the very last thing, and I kind of just said it, don't expect miracles. Yes, intermittent fasting is an excellent tool to have in your arsenal against fat loss, but remember, it is one small piece to the bigger picture. So it's still important that you track your macros, you eat the foods that fit within those macros, and that you exercise. So, for the most part, intermittent fasting is pretty simple. And as long as you are consistent over time, you're playing the long game with your health, your fitness, your diet, you are going to have great results. Remember, it's about the long game. We're not here to become supermodels by next week. All right. Okay. That is really all I have on intermittent fasting as far as what I wanted to tell you. Like I said, I'm giving you a PDF. It's a pretty large PDF. I've started working on it this week. I'll have it finished for you by, I'll have it finished for you no later than Sunday. I'm mostly done with it. I wanted to add a few more things into it. So if you have any questions, lay them on me. Nikki, did I answer any of the questions or curiosities that you had that last week that I know you wanted to ask?
Yeah, sorry, it's windy. Just let me know. I'm on a walk. So,
oh, you're fine. You're fine.
I just, I mean, everything that I was worried about, you answered. So basically it was, I was doing intermittent fasting before I started with you. And I noticed that, like, it was really hard for me to get my carbs in. That was the only thing that I was struggling with. Was like on the days that it was like a high carb day, like shoving all those carbs into an 8-hour window for me was just something that I had to like get used to. So I kind of stopped it for a little bit just so I could get used to fitting the macros in and all those carbs. And I think I'm going to slowly maybe try and do it. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I'm feeling good, like, as of right now with what I'm doing. So I don't know. I still really don't eat until, I don't know, like 10 or 11 in the morning. So I'm pretty much doing it. It's just sometimes, like, on high carb days, I'm like, oh crap, I have like 8 hours to get these in. I better start doing it now.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I, had questions about. I forget what I asked last week about it, or
I didn't really give you an opportunity to ask anything because I told you I was going to be talking about it. So that's why I was just making sure that you didn't have anything left.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it is a little bit more difficult if you have those extended fasts going into a high carb day because there is so much food to get in.
Right.
So you could do one of two things. Start eating earlier. Actually, one of three things. You could start eating earlier if you wanted to. You could make sure you're hitting your proteins and fats and as many carbs as you possibly can on high carb day and not really stress about shoving them in. Or what you could do is just focus on it during your low carb days and then pretty much go as long. I guess I kind of said that with number one, just go as long as you possibly can on high carb day. But the low carb days are probably the best days to be doing it, especially low carb day and intermittent fasting and cardio all on the same day is just like your body's a fat burning machine that day. So
yeah, right.
it's really honestly hard to mess up.
Right.
It's pretty self-explanatory. Like you just stop eating and start eating within either a 12, 14, 16 hour window. Allie, intermittent fast, I know that. What was I going to say? I think that was really it. The guide that I wrote for you has more detail in it. And I think it has a couple links to refer to if you wanted to research on your own. But yeah, that's really about it. For anybody who's watching the replay, I would highly recommend first getting used to your macros before adding this in. Like I said at the beginning, you want to, it's like layers of a cake, one layer at a time. And then before you know it, you'll realize you're doing all of these things with ease, and it's just gonna be easy for you, but that takes time and practice. So, well, do either of you have any other general questions? Because that's really all I have for all of you tonight. Oh, I do have one question. As of right now, and I want everybody, even if you're watching the replay, to comment, send me a private message, comment in the group, whatever it is you need to do. Is there anything you have not felt you have learned that you thought you were going to learn? Because we still have 2 more weeks and I can still teach you those things. So is there anything you felt you haven't learned that you either thought you were going to learn or want to learn?
I mean, I honestly think you cover everything pretty well. I don't have any questions or concerns. I pretty much covered.
Okay, perfect. That's good.
I agree. And just feedback from like past challenges, having the videos for the workouts is so helpful.
Okay, good.
Even when I think I know what I'm doing, I like to double check.
Good. And yeah, so we're actually Casey's actually in the garage right now. He's working on our garage floor, but we're actually building an actual gym in our garage. So I'm pretty sure the next challenge, I'm going to have both home and gym examples. So it'll be more work on my end, but I think that's going to be good for anybody who wants to, maybe has never been in a gym before, not comfortable with that. So that'll be in the future. So I'm excited about that.
It's kind of fun trying to figure out how to do the gym stuff when watching you do it with the resistance bands.
Yeah, that's why I try to, like, when I actually write it, I try to write it as if you were in the gym. But I don't know how helpful that is. So
no, it's been good.
Okay, good. Okay, well, if neither of you have any questions, thank you for the feedback. Everybody else, send me your questions if you have any. And then otherwise, tomorrow I'm going to be going over your check-ins. Please make sure you have those. You have that sheet filled out by 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. yeah, that's really it. That's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow is that, and you should have them by no later than Saturday afternoon. So otherwise, that's all I have for you, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Thanks,
Adrienne. You too.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.